Hi, Leanne. Haley. Luke Douglas. That guy's everywhere.
He is everywhere. Oh, Leanne, yeah.
Rebecca Adams back.
Tony's on there. What? Just a bit more here as people are filing in.
Hi, everybody.
Andrea, welcome back again.
Fun.
Some New York connections. Oh, wait just a few more seconds here. Oh, Haley Black. All right. Since we're 2 minutes out, we'll get started. I'm sure there'll be more people to file in here, but good afternoon. I'm Eric. I'm here with members of the IOH staff. Hope you're doing well and thanks for joining. This morning's session, looking back, we took a look at the early days of IOH and heard stories from many people that knew our co-founders well. In this session, we're going to look around and hear more stories from many people about how the existing IOH programs have impacted their family. A few reminders, as Betsy mentioned this morning, it's Giving Tuesday season for IOH. We'd be grateful if you'd like to make a fundraising page and share with your community. It's quick, it's easy, and all gifts are being matched now, doubling your impact. And so we invite you to share your IOH story with your community. And then one other reminder related to this session, we invite you to engage with others in the chat using the chat box. Just when chatting, remember to reply to everyone, not just panelists. In fact, let's try that right now. I have 2 questions for everyone on the call. The first is, where are you joining from? And the second one is, how many people are joining from your Zoom screen? So where are you joining from and how many people are joining from your Zoom screen? While people are answering that, and before we share some stories, we're going to give away some prizes. I'll turn it over to Program Director Betsy. And are there any rules before we get started?
Oh, you know, there's a few rules. So
of course.
Here's the deal. We have some trivia questions and also a game that we're going to be playing. And we will be choosing the winners from the chat. So you should be able to access your chat if you want to participate. And also, we're going to let each person win one time during this session. So there are going to be lots of opportunities, and we're going to tell you what the prize is before we ask the question. So you can decide if you want to like hold out for something better, but you never know. Okay, so that's part of the fun. And I think it's time to get started. So we are going to share a puzzle right now, and underneath this puzzle is a logo. So as we start to uncover, you know what I think we should do? Let's start with a trivia question, Eric.
Trivia. All right, here we go. Trivia.
Great.
The prize here, IOH Visor. Okay. The question is, where did we launch our first Hope Hub? Where did we launch? Where the location? Not Legacy Retreat, not Hope at Home Groups, but Hope Hub. We got some answers.
Whoa, that was lightning fast there, Tony Reed.
Shocker, he may have been there, right?
Okay.
But a little fun fact, we're going to get a chance to meet some of those folks in the DC area tonight if you join us.
So correct answer was DC, and did you see how fast that went? You got to be ready for a prize. Okay, our
Andrew,
game.
Long Island.
What'd you say, Eric?
Andrew put in Long Island. Nice. Go ahead, Betsy.
All right. Underneath these tiles is a logo. So in the chat, what is this logo? Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to say that the prize is a Kendra Scott bracelet. And I think we already got a winner. Anna, are you here?
I am here. Yep. So it looks like Luke Douglas came in first and then Tracy was right after.
Amazing. Okay, Luke Douglas, that's your second prize of the day, right, man? Oh, Douglas family, I guess. Maybe you won a prize this morning. Well, we will be sending you your goods. And did you say where to email, Eric? If you win a prize?
Yeah, info@inheritanceofhope.org, right?
Send us an email with your name and your address, and we will send you your prize. All right, another trivia question. Here we go.
All right, this is the closest without going over, like a Price is Right kind of deal here. So, and the price is an IOH fleece. Okay, so the question is, how many people follow IOH on Facebook? How many people do we have following us on Facebook? And this will be a kind of a time deal. We'll see how close we get. Oh boy.
Well, it came in.
Yeah, it did.
Yep. And it was, hold on, I just lost it. Ren Becerra.
Well done.
I think Ren maybe had like a dual screen going on there.
He was on it. That's great.
That guy does everything. Sandcastles, trivia.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, they're Maui as well. Wow, well done. Yeah, we hope you join us on Facebook and IG. Join us on social, please. All right, Betsy.
Okay, our next puzzle is an attraction. Comes. And the prize is an IOH visor.
Okay, we have a winner. 1 second, my chat is all over the place.
Sarah.
Yes.
All right. Congrats, Sarah. Well done.
All right. Another trivia question here. This is for a Rachel Maid care kit. Now, Rachel Maid has been a longtime partner, has created care packages for families for many years now. So Rachel Maid care kit, and this is a multiple choice. All right. So how many people have downloaded our app? Okay. We have A at 1,113. We have B at 3,793, or C 5,458. So 1,100, 3,800, 5,400 ish.
ABC.
ABC.
Becky was the first one to get that one.
Bethany?
Becky. There's no last name though.
Okay, Becky, yeah, the answer is B. 3,793 people downloaded our app. And if you haven't, please go to the App Store, search out Inheritance of Hope, and put it on your phone.
That's right. Shameless plug for the app right there. All right. Our next puzzle is a character. And the prize is another Rachel Maid care kit.
Tracy Atwater coming in right away with that one.
Woo! Buzz Lightyear, one of our very favorites at Legacy Retreats and beyond. All right. Well done, Tracy.
All right. Some trivia. Where is Kendra Scott's headquarters? This is for a Kendra Scott frame. These beautiful frames.
Okay, that winner is Jency Shaw, Austin, Texas.
Yeah, Kendra Scott, if you don't know, is a game-changing partner for us. And they have a new video out that features actually one of our guests today that we'll share later.
All right, well done, Jency. We have another puzzle coming up, and the clue is people, and the prize is a fleece jacket.
Okay, Carmen Wood got that one, the Milligans.
That is the Milligans. That's Kristen, Ashley, Luke, and Rebecca.
Great photo. Great photo. All right. Another trivia question. How many past families served help lead or facilitate a Hope Home group? past families that have served to help lead or facilitate a Hope Home group. And for context, we have 21 of those groups currently. This is to win a pair of Kendra Scott earrings.
Ooh.
Okay, Noah Guest got that one.
Noah, well
17.
done.
17 of the 21 groups are led or facilitated by past family serve, which is incredible service to us and to others. And if you want to volunteer, you don't have to be a past family served. You can jump on our new volunteer site. There's a dozen of on-site and online volunteer opportunities. So check that out on our website.
All right, our next puzzle is a place, and the prize is an IOH visor. Oh yeah, that was fast.
That was fast. The Matthews family.
Matthews family, all right. We were gonna accept Magic Kingdom or Cinderella's Castle, so if you put one of those, you were right.
All right, I have one more trivia question, Betsy. Then, and this is a true or false. True or false? The only way to record a legacy video is at a legacy retreat. True or false? This is for an IOH long sleeve.
Whoa, I
Lynn-
saw
oh, Lynn Gump.
a fall so fast, Lynn. That is exactly right.
Who is that, Anna?
Lynn Gump.
Lynn Gump.
Excellent. Yeah. In fact, they're all done online now, and they're open to all. So check out legacyvideobyrequest.org. You can sign up today, or even get one as a gift to a family, someone that needs one, that would like to record one. Legacyvideobyrequest.org. Betsy, that's the last of my trivia. I know you have a couple more since we.
Okay, we're gonna do a couple more here. Our next picture reveal is a thing, and the prize is a Kendra Scott necklace.
All right, I'm gonna say Mitchell Anderson got that one.
Nice. And the answer was something Kendra Scott. Kendra Scott jewelry, Kendra Scott color bar, Kendra Scott packaging. There's a theme here. All right. And our next one is a specific IOH program, and the prize is an IOH visor.
There are some answers coming in, but we've got to be a little more specific.
Spencer with a different hairdo. Shocker. Anything yet, Anna?
So it is a Hope at Home group. You guys all got that. Are we looking for the specific? Oh, Peggy Douglas.
I think I saw it come through. Well done, Peggy.
All right.
The answer was the teen group. So the Hope at Home teen group. All right, I have two more picture reveals. So get ready in the chat. The next one is a person, and the prize is an IOH fleece jacket. Woo, that was fast.
All right, Haley got that one.
Awesome.
Great photo.
So good. It's always good to see Kristen's face. All right. And the final clue is a book title, and the prize is another Rachel Made care kit.
Nicole Conti got that one.
All right.
Yeah, that's a cool photo, and it's also the basis for our swoosh and our word mark, our logo. There, you can see the swoosh over that. Beautiful photo. All right, that was fun. Gave away a few more prizes. We're going to do more of that in the next session, to include a raffle for those that have created a Giving Tuesday page. There'll be special prizes for people put in a raffle if you did create a fundraising page. Now let's turn attention to some stories. We hear some stories from people that have been impacted by the existing programs that we have here at IOH. So I'm going to bring on Scott Ferguson. Scott, are you there? Yeah. Get him on here.
Yes.
Yeah. How you doing, sir? He's got the Mizzou, sporting the Mizzou today.
Yes, sir.
Scott actually attended the first Hope at Home weekend, and then recently also attended the Kendra Scott retreat in March. So just want to curious, Scott, if you want to tell us about your family and about, what is your IOH story?
So my wife was diagnosed originally in 2013, fought it, did amazing, was able to what we thought beat cancer. It did come back about 3 years ago. At that point, we were she was being treated at the local cancer center, and one of the gals there mentioned this amazing family, IOH, and fast forward to about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after that, we made contact, started off just meeting and being in a group. I'm kind of at a loss for words here, so I apologize if I'm rambling, but we're able to go to some of the groups and talk through some of the things that my wife was, some of the pain and some of the things that other folks were experiencing. At that time, we were chosen to go on a retreat. The original retreat, I think, was, gosh, I don't even know what the year was at this point, but COVID stepped in, so that would have been 2020.
It was April of 2020. Yep.
It was April 2020, April 2020, but COVID kind of pushed things back a little bit. We did, they had a couple of the virtual, you guys had a couple of the virtual retreats were absolutely amazing. Just a lot of fun, a lot of family compassion and caring and talking through everyone's experiences, which for us was super valuable. Other folks that are going through this, everyone that's on the phone that's experienced what we've experienced, I will say that we at times you feel alone. And one of the things that we were able to do is know that we weren't alone with IOH. And really, honestly, I can kind of just sum up things with a few words that pop in mind when it comes to the IOH family. It's first I'd say love, but I'm gonna start with compassion, and move to caring, and then an open heart. And then, like I said, love. Everything that we've experienced, everything that every person that we've talked to, literally every person knows our story. And for a group and a family that's quite big, that is amazing. The retreat that we went to in March, the Orlando Legacy Retreat, was I thought it was going to be a little rough. My wife had passed in February, so she had, it was less than, yeah, it was rough, and we weren't going to go, to be honest with you. We just, I with everything that I was dealing with, I have 2 sons, and we just kind of felt like, I kind of felt like, let's take a step back and kind of regroup. But in having conversations, it was something that I felt like it would help to meet folks and talk to other people that kind of went through it, and it actually did. Super emotional, but it was one of those things where it was a learning experience, knowing how to cope with some of the things that we've experienced. Nothing anyone can say will ever make you feel better, but knowing that other people have gone through it and they have made it through was huge. I can't tell you how amazing every single person was, and is, from the time that we landed in Orlando to the time that we went home. Every single person, again, like I said, knew our story, talked through some of the things that we were feeling, asked us questions about our family, just so much compassion, so much loving, so much caring, such open hearts. And I don't even know if I can even articulate what to say. I'm kind of at a loss for words, I'll be honest with you.
I think you did, Scott. I mean, that was beautiful. That encourages us too, for sure. And we're so glad you actually made that trip, that tough decision to go. And a little fun fact, Scott's featured in our latest video in partnership with Kinder Scott, and I totally ambushed him to get him in that interview. So I appreciate you for that, for doing it. And I also appreciate you for the kind words and the words of encouragement, and for sharing your story. We really appreciate you, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. All right. Well, the next group that we are going to bring up has a special story from New York City. And one of the things, so you guys can come on, Carmen and Tony and Tracy. And one of the things that Scott said so beautifully was that he felt like he wasn't alone. And so when you start to hear this story unfold, there was a moment that happened in New York City where some people felt alone until just the perfect friend came by. And speaking of the perfect friend, there he is. All right, I am going to let you guys tell us the story. This is a story we call our Miracle on 34th story from Inheritance of Hope. But let's hear it in your words. Can you tell us a little bit, Tracy and Carmen, about how you met Tony? And then we'll let Tony tell a little bit of his story.
Sure. So this was my first time volunteering with Inheritance of Hope. So excited, and was just thrilled when I was paired with the Wood family and got to meet Carmen and her husband, Barry, with ALS, who was in a power chair, and they're amazing 4 kids. And we had spent a long day seeing all the sights of the city and had been all over creation. And Barry was such a good sport. And it was dark and we were tired and it was cold, and that wheelchair was going a little slower than was making us feel comfortable. And we were on our way back to the hotel, and we came up to a corner, and I looked down and I was like, oh dear, this is where we started. And my phone, I have a terrible sense of direction, and my phone, the GPS wasn't working. And so Carmen was dealing with Sophia and some stuff back here. And I leaned over to Nathan, who's the oldest, and I was like, is your phone working? He goes, no. He goes, we're lost, aren't we? I was like, maybe we might be. And about that time, I was trying to be really cool and not let Carmen and the others know. They probably did know, but I was trying to be really super cool about it and be like, it's fine. We're good. It's all fine. And then about that time, this man in this long trench coat and this hat came up and he said, may I help you? And I was like, yeah. Are we near Times Square? He's like, not even close. And I'll let him tell you from there how it went. So
thank you, Tracy. That was a wonderful introduction. And Carmen, it's a pleasure to see you again. And
Good
it's a
to see
pleasure
you,
to
Tony.
see all of my old friends from IOH. I remember that night so vividly. Give you a little background for those that don't know me. I'm the security director for a company that runs department stores. This one in particular on that night was Saks Fifth Avenue. And we were doing the unveiling of our holiday window display, entertainments and fireworks and this, that, and the other thing. And I started the day at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and the event is over. And I don't know, Tracy, Carmen, maybe it was like 8 o'clock, 8:30, somewhere around there. And I'm going to my hotel room. And I'm born and raised in New York City. I have a very distinct knack or ability to identify foreigners or people who are from out of town, the same way that many of you or all of you probably easily identify that I'm not from Kalamazoo, Michigan, based on my accent, correct? So I get to this corner, and again, vividly, I'm on the corner of 50th and Madison Avenue. You have Saks Fifth Avenue on one side, St. Patrick's Cathedral on the other. And there's Tracy and Carmen and Nathan and Martina and the 2 girls, and Barry is in his chair. And I look at them, I said, they're not from New York. And they're doing the heads are spinning like, and I'm a very empathetic person. And I not introduced myself, but I said hi, and I said, hey, can I help you. And I forget who responded exactly. And yeah, we're lost. Well, where are you going? And I also honed in on Barry and Barry's chair. And they tell me what the hotel they're looking for. And I said, no, you're nowhere near it. And I said, it's a little difficult. I see you having a little difficulty, particularly with the chair. I said, I know that chair very well. My dad had ALS. And I see Carmen and Tracy look at each other. And one of them said, so does he. And at that point, Barry and I had a bro moment. And I leaned into him, and Tracy also told me that she had to deal with ALS with her dad. So it was like a instantaneous connection, and I was able to give them direction. And because New York City can be very daunting, and we had a little conversation. I told them where to go, and I said, hey, how long are you guys going to be in town? I'm the security director for Saks Fifth Avenue department stores, but I was also the security director for Macy's department stores, particularly in New York City. And I ran, from a security perspective, I ran the Macy's parade. So I said, hey guys, how long are you going to be in town? And they said, I think Tracy was leaving the next day or so. But Carmen said, we're going to be in town, and, we're going to go to the parade. I said, oh, wow. I said, I was just going to offer you guys the opportunity to go there. To make a long story short, we connected, I believe, the next day or so. And I made arrangements for Carmen and Barry and Nathan and Martina and the girls. Forgive me, Carmen, I forget the young girls' names. But I remember reaching out to a colleague of mine in the NYPD, and I said, hey, these are very special friends of mine from out of town. Make this a special ending of their weekend here in New York City. And from there, I met wonderful people. I met a wonderful organization. I had the opportunity a year later, unexpectedly, to hear from Derek. And he introduced himself and he said, hey, I heard about what happened. He says, hey, we're going to be back next, we're coming. I think it was around maybe October or so. He says, we're coming back to New York City. I heard your store puts on an event. And for the next couple of years, we were all fortunate to get together again. Many of the people I met over many years, and then there were new families each year. And they were my guests. And I still get a lot of ribbing from the NYPD and leadership of Saks Fifth Avenue, because you have to invite people in. And I said, I have a group of people. And they said, okay, how many tickets do you want? And I asked Eric, I said, how many people are coming? And every time we spoke, it went from 80 to 100 to 120. And I said, it's 120 people. And we shut the street down in New York City. Aaron, I know you were there with us, and Betsy and many others. And we shut the street down, and I tried to do my best to give the IOH family front row seats to experience what I think still, and maybe I'm a little biased because I work for the company, but one of the best holiday events in New York City. And if I can, Scott made a comment before that he felt alone. And my dad passed from ALS. I lost my mom as a teenager to cancer. I lost my wife to cancer. And I always said, I always put that facade on while I was going through all of these events, as I'm sure many of you do. And we're strong for ourselves, we're strong for our family. And my mom and my dad passed during the holidays. And it was always tough. And I remember being at the hospitals. I remember taking them home. I remember taking them to the doctors. And I would look at everybody else and say, am I the only one they're enjoying themselves? when I met the folks at Inheritance of Hope, they made you feel that you're not alone. You were never alone again. You weren't the oddity. You weren't the oddball. There's somebody else going through and walking through your shoes, walking in your steps. And to me, Inheritance and Hope is love, family, and support. And it's a great organization. I'd love to continue to support you guys in any way I possibly can. You let me know, and that's my spiel.
Oh, thank you, Tony. It's so good to hear your voice again and see your face, of course. Carmen, is
Thank
there anything that you want to add from your perspective to the story?
No, they kind of summed it up really well there.
Really good cover things. Any updates from your family?
I just want to say that although we went in November of 2015 on that trip when that happened. That's right? It was
I
2015.
think so, yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't, on one hand, it just doesn't seem that long ago. But that because, and I think it's because that was such a pivotal moment for all of us as a family.
Yeah.
Not only that moment in New York City, but the entire trip, that those things that are emotional and resonate and make you feel understood and accepted and loved, and for right where you are, like the hard things that we were all going through, kids and in a marriage and as a family, they were all addressed kind of during that trip. And it was really kind of cherry on top that we kind of had this strange moment in the middle of New York City on a really cold, dark night when, and you're like, the man in the trench coat could be like the really bad dude, or he ended up being just the exact opposite. And so I, although it's been 7 years, it just doesn't feel like it. And Inheritance of Hope has ever since then had a very special part in our family history and in our story. And I thank you for that.
Absolutely. We do have a picture of this that we want to share. And again, thank you all so much for coming on.
wow.
today.
That's
There,
beautiful.
there they are. Oh,
On our very cold night.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so
There
much.
is a throwback, but such a great story. So thank you so much. We are going to move to Jency next. So we'll wave goodbye for now. But thanks again for sharing your story.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tony, Tracy, and Carmen. Just a beautiful story. Thank you so much. Jency may be a familiar face to many of you, but welcome, Jency. We'd love to hear a little about your story and your family.
Yeah, well, it's always hard to follow a story like that when God just totally blows you out of the water. And it's kind of fun because on my first retreat that I volunteered on was in New York City in 2019, and Tracy was my partner. So she's the one who kind of showed me the ropes on volunteering, and she did a wonderful job. Yeah, so my name is Jency. I'm from Ohio, but I currently live on a little island in Virginia. And my family was served in, this was April of 2019. My dad was diagnosed with glioblastoma in March of 2018. So about a year later, we found out about Inheritance of Hope. And I remember it was over Christmas that my mom told us that we were going on this retreat. And to be completely honest with you, I did not want to go. I was a freshman in college at the time and just felt like the last thing that I wanted to do was, I love my family dearly. I'm the oldest of 10 kids. I should have said that. I'm the oldest of 10 kids and I love my family. They are like my favorite people. But the idea of going to a place with all of these other people who had cancer just was not something I wanted to do, especially because at that point, my dad was doing really, really well. And I just didn't want to acknowledge the fact that, that might change someday. However, because I love my family, I got on a plane and I went to Orlando with them. And our experience, I say this all the time, but it truly changed my life. We were served by, how many volunteers did we had? We had believe 4 volunteers maybe, 3 of which had were families that had previously been served. So I'll say their names because some of you probably know them, but Josh Bloss, Haley Black, and Anna Latimer, and then Brian Benson was our other volunteer. And I just remember 2 things primarily. I mean, there's a lot about that retreat that just blew me away, but 2 things have always stood out to me. The first is that, I mentioned I have a really big family, but the other kind of interesting nuance about my family is that a lot of my siblings have special needs. A lot of them are adopted internationally. And, one of my sisters is in a wheelchair. We just got a lot of needs, and we're bright and colorful and loud, but we're also a lot. And so as the oldest, my role has always been to just kind of like shepherd and not only take care of my siblings, but also kind of like not apologize for them, but, just like, okay, sorry, we have to stay quiet. Like we have to, all stay together, making sure nobody's running around and getting lost in parks, which has totally happened. And so just to come and be told to just like relax and let our volunteers care for my siblings made the biggest impact on me. And it wasn't just that they were taking that burden off of my parents and my sister and I, who normally, are doing that, but it was just the fact that they loved my whole family unconditionally. And, despite the challenges, despite the crazy energy, all of it, they just poured out love on my family. And I remember during the closing celebration, Derek was talking about the fruits of the spirit, and he listed them off, and I'm just like weeping. And he's like, these are the fruits of the spirit that you have experienced from your volunteers. And I just remember like just chills throughout my entire body, and just realizing like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what we experienced. And to experience that firsthand in a setting where I totally didn't expect it was just blew me away. And then I think the other thing that really stood out to me was, being served by peers who were my age and who had lost their parents. Haley had, her mom also had what my dad passed away from. And so just to see their joy and to see the fact that they came back, and then also just to see the relationship that they had with one another, and that they were friends and that they clearly loved one another, just gave me so much hope. And I know that that was the same experience that my parents had, just like seeing these people and seeing that they were smiling and laughing and having fun, spoke volumes. And I mean, that's what this is about, right? It's about hope. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell.
Thank you, Jency. Yeah, your family always leaves an impression. We're grateful for sharing your story and continuing to serve. You mentioned other people that served your family, but Jency is one of many that we're very grateful for, who, after having been served, keep coming back to volunteer, and that really enriches our IOH community. So yeah, thanks so much.
When I got back from my retreat, like I said, totally a different experience than what I was expecting, but I got back and I told my mom, I was like, I have to turn around and volunteer. Like IOH has to be in part of my life for the rest of my life. And so I started volunteering, like I said, and that was my first retreat was in New York City with Tracy. But yeah, I mean, once you're here, you're kind of hooked. So it's the best kind of thing.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jency. I know we have some other guests that we are excited to hear from as well.
Definitely. We're glad you're hooked, Jency. See you next time. All right. Next, we have a group joining us from Washington, D.C. We have Beth. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Beth and Lauren, who just survived a traffic jam, it sounds like, to get and a whole day. Okay, girl. We are so glad you're here. Thank you for making time to be with us and tell us a little bit of your IOH story. Why don't we just start with what Inheritance of Hope means to you? And maybe, Lauren, you can just talk a little bit about your Hope at Home weekend, because I think that was kind of like the first place you started, right?
Yeah. Just a little background. My husband was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in January. And at the time we had a 1 and 3-year-old. Now they've since gotten a little bit older, 2 and 4, not much better, still toddlers. But yeah, we found IOH through a friend that just recommended it to us. And I was like, there's no way this is too good to be true. Like, there's not an organization that actually like exists just for our specific like family dynamic. And then I signed up for the at-home retreat, and my husband was hospitalized. He was, I think he had COVID. He had COVID. So he'd been in the hospital for like a few days, but I still got on the retreat and I had 2 children climbing all over me and it was very frustrating. And I remember on Sunday, Allie had said, you know, if there's anything we can do to make this more enjoyable for you guys. And I was in my head, I was sarcastically thinking, if you could just send childcare to my house, that would be terrific. And we got off the phone and 30 seconds later, Beth called me and was like, I know this sounds crazy, but can I come watch your kids? And I'm like, I don't know who you are, but yeah. And it was just such a relief. Like I was actually able to just breathe and then go to the, you know, parent portion of it and focus on that. And then afterwards she said, go to Target, go walk around. And I was like, are you sure? I mean, okay, but are you sure? Like, okay. And she was just an answer to prayer and she still is. Like, she comes and watches my girls and they love her. There are certain games that only Miss Beth can play with them. So like it just really is family now. And we look forward to our Hope at Home weekends. My daughter has connected with Allie, who's the child. We've never met her in person, but she specifically was one of our hardest obstacle because she doesn't warm up to people very quickly. And this year has really taken a toll on her. But one day we went to a play date and we were leaving and I said, did you have fun? And she said, yeah, but not as much fun as I have at Hope at Home or Hope Hub. And it was just like, okay, all right, this sucks, but we're where we need to be. And just so grateful for all of it.
So just a couple things to note. Brian was in the hospital when you were participating in your Hope at Home weekend, right? So they joined from 2 screens, one from the hospital and one from home. And I remember when the girls saw him, they're like, there's Daddy on the screen. It was so sweet.
Yeah.
And then Hope Hub is what is happening in DC. And that's why these girls are together on our screen, because they are about to be part of one of our other programs. So Hope at Home weekends happen and you can come on one of those. And then we have so many other offerings now where you can stay connected. And so that is one of the great things that has come about more recently. But Beth, do you want to just tell us a tiny bit about Hope Hubs? I know we're going to hear more later, but maybe how that offering just continues to bring people together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been an amazing addition to Inheritance of Hope's offering, Hope Hub. Being able to go to Lauren's house during a Hope at Home weekend was fantastic, but that doesn't happen very often because we typically are all spread all over the country. So Hope Hub, though, is just a great opportunity for us to be able to serve in a specific location. So we've been here in the DC area now for, I think it's 7 months, I believe. And so we are just really enjoying getting together. We meet one Saturday evening a month and have a theme and just really have become a family and are looking forward to it continuing in other cities, and just been great to be able to experience it here.
So good. And I love the part where you got to go to Target by yourself.
I know.
That, like, what mom wouldn't want to be blessed with an afternoon to walk around? So many good parts of this story.
Yeah. Well, what stranger just shows up and watches your kids after driving an hour and says, you can go to Target? Like,
Yeah.
It's only something you would find here.
I want to mention too, she mentioned that Brian had COVID and they had COVID too. And so when I called her, she said that would be great, but we have COVID. We probably still, like, I don't know if we're free of it or whatever. And I was like, God's timing was just so incredible because I literally had just gotten over COVID. So I'm like, I am like antibodied and everything. So like just the timing of it was perfect too. So yeah, God's timing was great.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. I know you have a busy afternoon over there. So thanks again. Do you have Andrea with you?
We do. Here they come.
Oh, here we go. A little transition. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Betsy. I brought my youngest daughter, Lucy, with me. So.
Hi, Okay, that is even better.
Hey, welcome, welcome, guys.
Hi,
Yeah, we'd
guys.
love to hear some of your story too. I know we've heard a bunch of good ones, but love to hear how your family found out about IOH and what some of your experience has been with us.
So I'm Andrea. I live outside of Washington, D.C. in Northern Virginia, and my husband, Jim, was being treated for multiple myeloma up in Hackensack, New Jersey. And we were stopped in the hallway by a woman who said, "You need to check out Inheritance of Hope." And so I went home and watched the video and started to cry. And we had 5 children at the time of diagnosis. I mean, we have 5 children, so they were ages 11 to 4. And I was just so moved, and I told my husband to apply, and he got the call from Dina that we had been accepted on a legacy retreat, and he called her back and said he wanted it in writing because this was too good to be true. And she's like, "No, I promise you, you just show up." And so we had always planned to take our kids to Disney, and when they got out of diapers, but we got a cancer diagnosis instead. Jim got a really bad diagnosis, or like a progress report, prior to our trip, which was in 2017. We went Memorial Day weekend to Orlando. So we chose not to tell our kids that we were going because we were afraid we'd never make it on the plane. And I was concerned we were going to take resources from another family. So we told our kids that morning, and Jim was able to make it. And like everyone said, like, we just weren't alone. It was like the most incredible experience because I had extra hands. I wasn't outnumbered. We had volunteers that have become lifelong friends that have looked out for me and been in touch. And I made a lot of close friends from the patient group and the caregiver group that I've stayed in touch with. So this is an incredible blessing. And I mean, Lucy still remembers what that retreat was like and made those memories with her dad. So.
Yeah. Lucy, do you want to share a memory or a story while you're there?
I love Inheritance of Hope because everybody's gone through a similar thing, and I've made lots of memories with my dad, my family, and with Inheritance of Hope.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucy. And Lucy also helps with the Hope Hub. I got to go there and see that. So she is helping other kids have a great time and know that they're not alone as part of that great DC community there.
Yeah, we meet every month, and it's been 5 years since we lost Jim. And so when I was called to serve and help with Hope Hub, I thought, oh my gosh, this is a way to give back. This is an incredible opportunity. And my girls like to help with the theme of the dessert every month. And today we're doing Hands of Hope. So we're packing meals for a third world country. And it just feels like there is a light and there is hope, and we can, move forward and still honor our loved ones that have been lost. And it's just a great community.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andrea and Lucy. Thank you for serving in all the ways that you are. And thanks for sharing your story this afternoon.
Thank you.
No, we have one more family that I think we are ready to welcome on here.
We sure do. Matthews, are you ready to join us? Jason and Kim joining us from Maine. I know I saw him pop on a little earlier. There we go. Hi. Yay, thanks so much for being here, you guys.
Hi.
Why don't we start with just some quick introductions and how you heard about Inheritance of Hope?
Sure. I am Kim, and this is Jason. We're the Matthews, and Jason is deaf. So if you see some closed captioning on the bottom of the Zoom, that's enabled there for him, which we're so thankful for. We have 3 children. Jacob is 9, Gloria is 7, and Ruthie is 3. And Jason was born at 30 weeks, so that causes deafness. But when he was 42, June of 2020, he was diagnosed with ALS. I, from time to time, joined like the monthly ALS Association group and got information that way, and met a few people, but there's just something missing prior to diagnosis, Jason and I had been leading a deaf ministry for 3 years, about 3.5 hours away. And we would go down once a month in Southern Maine and lead the deaf Bible study. And right when he got diagnosed, so we were planning on moving down and starting a Sunday morning service. And literally like the same month that he got diagnosed, I had gotten a new job and we were looking to sell our house and whatnot. So just to share that a little bit, that our heart is really deaf ministry. Kind of lost my train of thought, but
You were going to tell us how you heard about Inheritance of Hope.
right. So, I had been part of. Oh, I got to plug the battery in.
We will definitely take a time out for that.
Jason, I'm liking the glasses. I haven't seen the glasses before. Looking good.
Okay, so anyway, I had joined different groups, and then a friend on Facebook sent me the Inheritance of Hope Facebook page because she knew what we were going through. And I just started joining groups. I've been part of the ALS support group, the caregiver support group, the book club, the Just Drop In book club, the Friday morning, maybe it's called scripture reading. My kids have joined the kids groups a little bit, and we've done Hope at Home and the Hope at Home weekend. And because the ALS Association, I mean, they're great for some things, but they just don't have the hope that we have in Jesus and that we need. You know, our hope is not in a cure. It's not in medicine, you know, and just so I needed something more. And then we met Jill. I met Jill at the book club, that Do the Next Thing by Elizabeth Elliot. And I knew Jill, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 months. I can't remember, honestly. You know, when somebody in your life has a terminal diagnosis, life is kind of a blur. But I asked her one time, I said, can I call you? Because Jason's best friend also lives with us. He's been with us for more than a year, helping me take care of him. And he was quite burnt out and ill, and he had gone home, and I just, you know, with 3 kids and Jason and his level, you know, all of that stuff. And it's just a lot. So I asked Jill if I could call her. And I'm really a face person because it's part of the deaf community, you know, just seeing people's faces. And I called and she picked up and she signed. And I'm like, what? Like, you knew sign language all along? And she was just, you know, Jill smiling and signing. And so it was another connection that for us is really an integral part of our community. I mean, our family. And it's just really been a blessing. So Jason's prepared something that he wanted to share on his phone.
Nice.
Hello everyone, to Exciting to share with all you. My name is Jason. I am deaf all my life from northern east of Maine. Have my wife Kimberly and 3 children, Jacob 9, Laura 7 and Ruth 3. when I had diagnosis ALS in June 2020. Those were not easy what my thought, but by way have journey with Jesus. My daily have been coaster challenging how I have been rely on spiritual. How I become involved that IOH and there are wonderful variety is family of his children of God. Encourage join groups.
You know, the other thing I was going to say too is that we haven't actually like met anybody in person, and I have relationships with some people that are involved with IOH that are staff and that aren't staff that are sometimes my go-to people. You know, being involved in an organization and a family like this, like you know, you can come as you are, and you can say what you're feeling, you can say what you need to say. And I just know that there's no judgment, because everybody, everybody understands that the grief that it might be different and people might be responding differently to it, but there's a safeness here. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to say, like that verse that talks about that there's joy in the morning. I was thinking that like morning was sort of like the word morning, like sad. I know it's morning, there's darkness in the night, but there's joy in the morning. Like in this organization, in our morning, like we still have joy, and people look at us and are like, like your husband's dying, like you have 3 little kids, like, but we're like, but there's so many good things to come out of it. And this organization is part of it.
Well, we are just so grateful that you are part of the IOH family. I know we get to hear from you again tonight. So thanks for taking time to be with us this afternoon. And we are going to go ahead and wrap up this session, but it has been so great to hear from so many families. I love it. My favorite part is hearing stories of how people have connected with Inheritance of Hope. So just a few announcements as we finish up today. We have a kid group next at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And in order to protect our kids, that is on a different link. So it's not on this main webinar link, but you will receive that in your email if you registered for Vision. And if you need any help finding that link, please let us know. So you can email info@inheritancehope.org. You can reach out to any of us, and we would love to make sure that you get to the right place so that you can be part of that Kids Time call at 5 p.m. Eastern. And again, this is a reminder, we have some fabulous prizes to be given away at our 7 p.m. session tonight, our final session of the day, and you are automatically entered into the drawing for some fabulous prizes if you have created a Giving Tuesday fundraising page. So all of that information is very easy to find at the inheritanceofhope.org website. I'm sure we have a link here to quickly toss in the chat as well. So that's your homework between now and 7 p.m. Make a Giving Tuesday page. And Eric, I'm going to pass it to you.
Well, how about let's do the last trivia piece? How's that?
Let's do it.
All right, Anna.
Okay, so we are giving away an IOH backpack. So get your typing fingers ready. So it's going to go real quick. So this is a multiple choice question. Our question is, how many people in the U.S. are in families facing the loss of a parent? Is it A, 1 million, B, 3 million, or C, 7 million?
Whoa, there we go. That is some
Okay, so
answers.
yeah, so the one that got it, that had not already won, is Andrea Boyle.
Woo, Andrea,
Good job, Andrea.
the IOH backpack. Come your way, girl.
And what's the answer? Did you say, Anna?
7 million.
7 million. It's an incredible number. It speaks to our need, and we're going to talk about that need and how we're going to meet, serve more of those 7 million in this 7 o'clock hour. So we hope you join us. Aaron's going to be leading that session, and we're going to hear from some other people. But I hope you join us at 7 o'clock so we can reach more of those 7 million people. All right. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here.